And Eugene Wamalwa would like to become the Nairobi governor, or he's among the aspirants vying for the gubernatorial seat in Nairobi. Do you find that strange? Is it just me, or do we all find that strange that he's actually vying for this position, or at least showing interest in vying for the position, knowing that he is, everybody thought he would be comfortable as cabinet secretary for water and irrigation, but doesn't seem to be the case, does it? Crispus.
I think there is nothing strange about it because the Constitution provides for that. Every other person has got is actually allowed to vie for whatever position so long as you've attained the relevant age. So for him, I think it is an aspiration to higher positions. Remember when I spoke about the amount of resources that actually that position attracts. So being a CS cannot be compared to being a governor in a serious county like Nairobi. And remember, most of these governors or aspiring candidates for gubernatorial positions actually aspire at some point to become presidents. So for Eugene, I think it is a long shot. Whether he'll get it or not, time will tell. But I think I'm impressed by the number of, or the long list of aspirants who are gunning for, who are aspiring to become Nairobi governors, because the other day you saw even Marende saying that he's now in the race. So like I said before, Nairobi will be heavily contested, just like any other county that is near Nairobi.
Some are viewing it as pace setting. You know, yesterday we hosted Dennis Waweru, and he's also one of the people interested in, or at least one of the politicians interested in becoming Nairobi governor. And, you know, a lot of people were asking what has he achieved as a member of parliament that would warrant him being a Nairobi county or city county governor. And, well, whether or not he answered those questions correctly is something that can be left to whoever was asking those questions and his responses to those specific questions. But David, from where you sit, do you think that maybe now the governorship position is one of the most sought after positions in the country today?
If you ask me,
people would view it as next to president.
If you ask me, after the presidency, it's the gubernatorial position, and governors have become lords or kings in the 47 counties. But that aside, the big question which you asked first is Eugene Wamalwa good enough to be governor of Nairobi? We must take audit of who has been Eugene Wamalwa. He's been an MP.
In the past,
why is it that other candidates are coming and say, I want to be governor? This is like Dennis Waweru did, like Miguna did. He's joining that long list. He must, first of all, and this is free counsel for the good lawyer, that he must stop coming across as a project of the people from some political quarter. Why do you need some 17 MPs who are not even voters in Nairobi propping you up? Let Nairobians decide who they want to be the governor. So if he has, can you just give, you had your time, please.
I had my time, but I'll respond to that.
If he will sit back and come and sell himself as a candidate, good enough, tell us what happened with the irrigation in the Tana and those projects that failed under his watch, and what makes him think he can beat Kidero, he can beat Miguna, he can beat Dennis Waweru, and any other candidate, including Sonko, my good friend. Then let him come and sell his agenda. Nairobi is very critical to this country, controls more than 50% of the GDP of this country.
60% actually,
And we don't want another project coming to this city and telling us, because I've been supported by Kanini Kega, who votes in Nyeri, he should be the governor.
Do you think that some of them are just pace setters? They're not exactly interested.
You don't set the pace the wrong way. If there were enough youth, credible business persons in Nairobi, people of good standing who are voters in Nairobi saying Eugene Wamalwa is good enough to be my governor, he has my vote anyway here, still in Nairobi. But until he convinces me that he's not that project.
Crispus, you wanted to respond to David Ohito's comments.
All right, I would say this. It is very interesting to hear those kind of sentiments coming from my brother Ohito, because being a student of politics, he should know better that in politics everything counts. It doesn't matter whether you're endorsed by who. It doesn't matter whether we are project. It doesn't matter whether you are bought. This talk about people being bought, I think it is a tired talk, or people being endorsed, because every other politician, senior politician in this country who's on stage right now, including Raila Odinga, was at some point bought by KANU. So this talk actually has to end. Whether Eugene Wamalwa has got the proper credentials to run the city is another matter altogether. That, I think, we can leave it to the voter to decide. But in my opinion, I think Nairobi requires somebody of character, like I said, somebody who can take the bull by the horns and ensure that Nairobi is up and running. This kind of mess that we are seeing under the leadership of Kidero, I think it is time that Kenyans actually stood up in 2017 and said enough is enough. Let's elect people who can deliver the services that Nairobians actually require. And the same actually goes for counties like Kiambu. The same goes for counties like even Nyeri. The same goes for counties like Kajiado. It is embarrassing to see even MCAs are now fighting for certain things instead of now ensuring that critical things are fixed within their system or within the society to ensure that their respective electorate is comfortable.
All right, but then what does that say about the current Nairobi governor? You know, that we're seeing all this long list of people interested in being Nairobi City County's governors. We have Mike Sonko, we have Margaret Wanjiru, we have Esther Passaris, we have Dennis Waweru, we have Sakaja. There's so many, you know, and the list is still growing. And one actually would beg, you know, is it that people are not satisfied at the moment with the service being given or the service delivery in Nairobi County, David?
It shows how Jubilee is divided. They can't even decide on who they want to be their governor.
Yeah.
And for me, if from political perspective, it gives Kidero an upper chance. As long as Jubilee is not sure whether they are going for Marende or going for Dennis Waweru or Eugene Wamalwa or being endorsed by non-Nairobi voters, Kidero still leads, and that does not take away the fact that Nairobi needs a proper professional manager who will fight back cartels. This city is run by cartels and has been presided over by a bad lot of leadership over time. The urban plans that were implemented in the 60s during the colonial era are the same ones that are still being done today. There's no successful city that can survive on public, motor vehicle transport. We must start thinking about trams. We must start having the long buses that carry masses of people. You must start blocking vehicles from getting into the CBDs. We must start having flyovers and underpasses. If we can agree that that can be done by an individual, if it is Eugene Wamalwa, so let it be. If Kidero can work with the national government and ensure these policies are implemented, the better. Why should somebody take 3 hours between JKIA and Westlands in a city? And you are a business person. If you quantify the amount of losses in traffic jam only, if you quantify the amount of city residents that go without water services, that cannot access health services, it's enormous. And I think we need re-engineering of the city. I am very sure not even the next governor, be it Kidero, Eugene Wamalwa or Dennis Waweru, will fix this problem. We need a lot of goodwill. We need a lot of support from residents of the city. Where do you throw your garbage, for example? Why should you take a water bottle and throw it on the streets? These are laws that must be enforced to the letter. I like his green grasses so far.
The green grass, it finally grew that.